So much of the dialogue is just straight trash.
Or is it too sensical?
No, it's definitely nonsensical.
Press A to play.
Absolutely, but that's the thing, right? Is that like Ryan Gosling at this point is generic hot man TM, right? So like, and everything he does is the same.
I just want to say, like, I'm the ultimate hipster because I was a fan of his before, like, he even hit puberty, I think, because he was in, like, the...
You're gonna have to qualify that statement.
Well, he's way older than I am, so, I mean, I was like a kid back then.
Yeah,
I saw him in this insane
Breaker
performance.
High. Remember that? It was like it was a TV show where it was like, this is gonna sound weird, but it was like a high school on a cruise ship.
Oh.
Yeah, it was really cool.
Okay, no, we are talking about different things.
It was a high school on a cruise ship, which I don't know why, but Ryan Gosling was one of the main characters, and that's how when I was like 7 or 8, was already watching the gossing it up.
Fair enough. See, like, I've only known Ryan Gosling in, well, again, generic hot man TM roles, right? So, the new Blade Runner, but like also Drive, Crazy Stupid Love, anywhere they needed a hot dude, you know?
But no, he's not supposed to be a hot dude though in Blade Runner. He's just a sad and broken.
But he was chosen because he's Ryan Gosling, not because he's sad and broken. Okay, let's be honest for a second.
It's a Denis Villeneuve movie. I'm not gonna stand for this slander. Like, Denis Villeneuve knows what he's doing when he's casting the people. Like, for example, he cast Dave Bautista, like, against all the sort of like typecasting that had been going on with Bautista. He cast him as like this quiet, calm, like bookwormy kind of a guy for the opening scenes of Blade Runner 2049, which is...
Gosling, I think, in 2049 did a very good job of portraying this character that was in love with like that AI.
Oh yeah.
And
Ana de Armas in that film though, holy wow, yeah.
And I thought they gave a very, what I felt was like maybe an actually realistic treatment of that situation. And I really appreciated the nuance that I felt like Gosling put in his performance in that one.
Yeah, he's like a broken, empty boy who just desperately wants to be real, and I think it's a perfect, like, he was cast perfectly for that one.
Fair enough. I would argue that part of the reason he was a good cast for that role is because he's not particularly emotive, and
exactly,
also, because he's got abs.
But exactly, that's my point. Yeah, because that's what you need for that part. Like, someone who's sort of
no emotion and
cold and distant.
But this is my point, right? Is that I feel like he's like that in everything. Like, I watched him in Crazy Stupid Love at one point, and I was like, yeah, I don't know, this entire thing is coming off like a stage performance. Like, at no point in that movie was I like, yes, this is him. It felt like Ryan Gosling.
But that's exactly, but then we agree, because that's exactly what I'm saying. Like, he's one note in his performances.
Yes.
Blade Runner made amazing views of it.
This is
like,
true, yeah.
That's
this
my
is
thing.
exactly
like, in Drive,
the point, yeah.
And in Blade Runner, I feel like it was an actual obvious, like an actual sort of, like an artistic choice. Like, where that's just like, I need this kind of performance.
Really good parallel with Keanu as Neo, I think.
Exactly, right?
Yeah.
Keanu as Neo, and John Wick, I think, did the same thing, right? You picked the right actor for the right role, and they identify with it. They did exactly what you wanted them to do. They communicated the vibe you needed them to communicate, and that's it.
Exactly. And again, Keanu doesn't have that big a range as an actor, but if you cast him for the right role,
but he's dedicated
amazing.
as hell, yeah.
Nicolas Cage actually is also a great example. Like, I'm still very much convinced Nicolas Cage is one of the best actors ever.
I'm telling you, those 35 seconds in Mandy.
I just need him to go full Cage in more movies. And you know what was really fun, actually? Have you seen The Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent?
I almost watched it like a week ago. I really, really, really want to watch it.
You need to see it. I won't spoil it, but like, it was such a fun movie. And again, it's one of those movies that's fun because making movies is fun.
Yeah.
And you got that vibe watching it. It felt so much like he was having a great time, and so was Pedro Pascal, and it was just...
But like Nicolas, what I love about Nicolas Cage is that...
Do you see my number of deaths?
I didn't see the resolution. What happened to Mr. Oisho?
He was sad that you left. He was just sort of just looking at you.
He blew up at you and then was sad that you left.
Yeah.
They'll probably fix things with him soon.
But yeah, no, Nicolas Cage is like... What I love about him is that he never phones it in. Like, whatever movie he's in, whatever the budget is, there's never a like performance where like, oh yeah, he's just sort of giving a sleepy, non-committal like performance here. He's always just giving it all. And again, if he's in the right movie, like if you look at Wild at Heart, Leaving Las Vegas, Adaptation, and also some stuff like Lord of War, and of course there's Mandy,
Mandy,
Color Out of Space.
Raising Arizona.
It's he has actually given some of the best performances out there, and Roger Ebert even himself said like he's one of the best actors of his generation. It's just that he does do a lot of trash, but
even the listen, Face Off is good.
No,
He
exactly.
just
He's so
enjoys.
bad.
good.
He
Yeah.
just
Exactly, yeah.
enjoys being in movies.
Yeah. And that's what I love about him as well. Is like he never ever, obviously he, it's not like he never ever took advantage of his family connections ever, because he did play a part in at least one Coppola film, and he,
Oh, Moonstruck.
yeah, like in the 80s, like in the time that Coppola was sort of doing his own weird thing. But the thing is, Nicolas Cage didn't want those kind of movies. Nicolas Cage has never been interested in like more conventional drama. He's always been into weird stuff. So even though he could have, for example, probably kickstarted his career way sooner, just by latching on to his uncle, he went on to do David Lynch stuff, and he did things like Leaving Las Vegas. Like he never used the Coppola name to become a star, because he didn't want to become a star. He wanted to act in weird, fun movies, and that's one of the things I like about him. Like, yeah.
I dig it.
Also, his spending is just amazing. Like, I know it's just a regurgitated joke at this point, but
Well, I don't know about it. His
like,
spending.
yeah, with like he's been buying like wineries and dinosaur skulls, and like he had a castle at one point. I think it's.
Okay.
Yeah, I think at one point he spent like 30 or 50 million in a month or something. It was.
All right.
Yeah. Nicolas
Wow.
Cage is a weird one. But he's so good. Like, especially in adaptation, like a Charlie Kaufman movie, which. Oh, I adore Charlie Kaufman. That's still one of the best performances ever.
Aww.
Oh God! Apparently we're in Canada. I don't know if you noticed that.
Yeah,
there's
I just
wind.
saw.
Yeah.
Okay, so we know what the new theme of the new stage is.
Oh, those are spikes. Okay.
At least you've gotten out of the red fart clouds of doom.
That's right. We're out of Oshiro's red clouds of mental debilitation death.
Very nice.
Now we're in the wind of what do you call it? The wind of why am I having a hard time with this? When you
I'm
have,
already loving
Canada.
when something is a difficult time.
Canada. I'm already loving the art direction, like the sort of sunsetty colors in the sky and all the clouds moving. It's a beautiful way to treat the aesthetic, I think.
It really is, right? So the color palette in this game is beautiful.
Yeah.
They're using the triad in beautiful ways, I think.
The triad.
Well, like the traditional sort of red, white.
The contrasting color. Yeah.
Yeah, red, yellow, blue palette. They're treating it very well.
You mean the blue and orange movie posters? Yeah.
Yeah, those are one iteration of that color palette. Yeah.
Blue and orange movies. I think I watched one of the Spider-Man films again recently, and it was the entire thing was like blue and orange.
Yeah, it's because
Works.
those colors contrast so well.
Yeah.
They make each other brighter.
Yeah. So like every movie, game, and TV poster for the last like 15 years or 20 years, like it's been just like the sort of go-to even. Like it's really.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That's what everybody does, because it genuinely works. You
Yeah.
use blue as a cooler tone and a brighter orange tone, and it genuinely highlights everything you want it to highlight.
Yeah.
The problem is, of course, it's become so common that like now we're
doesn't stand out
accustomed to
anymore.
it, and it doesn't stand out anymore. Yeah.
Same goes for like 50 faces on a poster concept.
This is why I like the magenta and green variation. I've seen a lot of people using lately. Because magenta and green does the same thing, but it does it in a slightly different way. Oh God. Oh God. Okay. The noises are necessary, okay? They're part of the process.
This week on One Big Wonder does
This week on
ASMR.
This week on One Bit Wonder. The noises are necessary. Don't ask.
One bit does ASMR.
Oh. Nice.
Swanky.
There we go.
We're not weird.
Nope, we're just, ASMR podcasters. It's fine. Do you think the wind will change direction if I wait a second?
Oh, look at that. Oh, come on.
There we go. Yeah, so jumping against the wall doesn't consume stamina, so if you wait for the wind to be in your favor, boxes blow up. And then come back together, apparently. Okay. Yeah, have you ever seen, so just to go back to the Nicolas Cage conversation, which is obviously what we should be talking about on
right.
this day.
Always.
Have you ever seen Community?
No.
Yeah.
There was an entire episode where Abed tries to determine if Nicolas Cage is good or bad and can't figure it out.
And then he just cages it up himself at one point.
Yeah, he at one point just becomes Cage.
Yeah.
He's like, he's over Caged. He's watched too much Cage. I told him not to overdo it. He's gone too far.
He's gone full cage.
He's gone full Cage.
It's a unit of insanity.
Yeah, like if you ever see that episode, that's how I feel about Nicolas Cage. Is he good? Is he bad? Is he the bad kind of good? Is he the good kind of bad? I will never know.
All of the above, obviously.
What I love about Nicolas Cage is that, and I think that's actually like a really important characteristic of like most of the actors out there that I consider like the best or like incomparably good. He doesn't care about Nicolas Cage once he starts acting. He's not occupied with, do I look cool or sexy or interesting? Like from the get-go in his career, he's done a lot of stuff in his films that could make him look
very silly.
Yeah, or unattractive or dumb, or like he only cares about the role. He only cares about, and again, that leads to some really weird stuff out there, sure. But you never see Nicolas Cage, like with a lot of actors, if you think about it, you can actually see them sort of just not going too far because they kind of want to protect the image that is whoever they are in real life.
Right.
Nicolas Cage doesn't. Nicolas Cage just
he just goes all the way,
into his roles, and I love that. Like that's an amount of dedication that you do actually hardly see. Philip Seymour Hoffman was a perfect example of that for me as well, and it's still horrifying that we lost him so young, basically.
I don't even know anything about Philip Seymour Hoffman.
He was in Boogie Nights and The Master, Punch Drunk Love, Synecdoche, New York.
I remember that film.
I literally don't know any of those movies, which I think is why I don't know who this person is.
He was like the muse of Charlie Kaufman, for example, at one point. Yeah. Wait, I can show you.
Were they together? Oh.
Wow. The Schenectady, New York film was such a trip.
Is it still alive? Did I break it?
I can't hear myself. Do we have sound, Andrew?
We have sound.
That's because you were
Okay, yeah,
unplugged.
there we go. Yep.
Yeah, that's a robust piece of gear. We don't need to worry about it too much.
So I realize now that I can do this, which explains why I've been failing.
Oh, you can move them.
I can like willfully move them.
Okay, that's cool. Philip Seymour Hoffman. Such a good name.
It is a great name. I will give him that. Like,
Oh, he was actually the bad guy in Mission Impossible 3. Like, which is still considered to be the only really, really, really good bad guy in the Mission Impossible movies.
I don't remember
that
any
one,
of the
yeah.
bad guys, just like I don't remember any of the plot.
This is Philip Seymour Hoffman.
one moment. Sorry, I'm space
I'm
ball.
Kelly,
real
I'm
quick.
trying to
Oh,
say
him.
his name.
Okay, yeah. I do know his face.
Yeah. He did have a face. This is true.
He did in fact possess a face. I have evidence.
There's been some controversy regarding the subject, but I can confirm Philip Seymour Hoffman did have a face.
We have pics, therefore it did happen.
He most definitely had his face on, as opposed to Nicolas Cage, who was best known for
for having his face off. Yes,
exactly, yeah.
Indeed.
I still watch that movie at least once a year.
I have never seen it. Can you
I
believe that?
haven't watched it.
I've only ever
What?
seen clips of it. And it was enough for me to understand the madness, but I've never actually seen it.
I've never rewatched it since I saw it when I was like 18, I think, maybe even 17.
my God.
So I really want to rewatch it, actually. Yeah,
I think
it's a John Woo film with Travolta and Cage. Like,
I feel like I can make a fairly decent argument that it is, if not the best, one of the best bad good movies. You know what I mean? Because the entire plot is completely nonsensical. So much of the dialogue is just straight trash.
or is it too sensical?
No, it's
Okay,
definitely nonsensical. There's no.
I like how there was a pause to think about it for a second. It's just, no, I've thought about it, and no, it was definitely not too sensical.
I've had this conversation more than once, but it's always good to reflect and question yourself. No, it's nonsensical, and it's still, watching it is still a joy every single time. And Nick Cage is a big piece of why it's such a joy. Every single scene he's in this impossible, like, nonsensical plot, and like you were saying, like, he commits. He is all in. It is so satisfying to watch. I made my lab mates watch it. They're like, we've never seen this movie. I'm like, oh boy, are you in for a treat.
Wait, what's happening here? Is there a secret over there to the right? I think there is, right?
Yeah,
In
it
the
looks like
water.
a secret.
Yeah. There we go.
Yeah, nice break.
See, I participated. I contributed. I did something with the game.
You have indeed. You've interacted with the game
I got
in
us,
addition to crapping on Black Panther.
I got us one of like the 50 strawberries. Just, I mean, that's like 2%.
Oh, only like 25. I'm not that good. But yeah, no, it's true. I think good bad movies are amazing. How did we end up on this topic? Right, because
Nick
modern
Cage.
movies are being ruined by capitalism. Is my point.
Nick Cage has money. Can Nick Cage just start, like, producing a bunch of weird ass films?
That's what he's been doing.
Is that
the last
not
couple
what
years.
stuff like The Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent and Willy's Wonderland are? Like,
And what he has turned his career into is actually really impressive and actually seriously really cool if you think about it. Like, what Nicolas Cage has been doing the last couple of years is he's pretty much stopped lending his name to anything big budget or big studio. He's pretty much seriously stopped doing anything that involves people with huge amounts of money or like studios with huge amounts of money, and he's basically just sort of specialized now in weird, outlandish, experimental, creative small productions where his name alone will bring in a lot of viewers. So like, he probably for like not even ridiculous amounts of money, he's participating in all these films where he can just go all out, give amazing performances, and help out like newcomers to Hollywood get their film out there because of his name. Like, it's actually really impressive what he's been doing. Like,
yeah, and like again, like Willy's Wonderland, Mandy, the Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent,
yeah.
like
Pig as well, Joe, like, just keeps on
right,
going.
this is also why I like Daniel Radcliffe, because like
yeah, same.
he made
Guns
he
and
made his
Kimbo.
what's that?
Guns and Kimbo.
Exactly right.
Swiss Army Man.
Swiss Army Man, right?
Swiss Army Man was amazing.
Swiss Army Man, Guns Akimbo, Miracle Workers. I have been watching Miracle Workers, and it's genuinely good. If you haven't seen it, you should check it out. Like, he's basically just doing whatever he thinks is fun now, and I love that so much. That's what it should be like, right? It shouldn't be about the money in a perfect world. Of course, it has to be because we live in a capitalist nightmare. But you know, if it wasn't for that,
Callie dropping hints.
sure, hints.
Hints,
Subtle.
nudge, nudge, wink, wink,
Call
say
them
no more.
hints, yeah.
Subtle hints.
Eat the rich, very subtle hint right there. Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's I'm incredibly subtle. I don't know what you guys are talking about. If any of my corporate overlords see this, yes, I would like a raise. But yeah, like, that's the thing, right? We've created this ridiculous system for ourselves, but we refuse to let it go.
Yeah.
Anyway, that particular rant aside, yeah, I love actors who feel like they can make movies just because they're having fun making movies and not because it has to be Oscar bait. It has to be their next big paycheck. It has to be whatever.
Robert Pattinson as well, for example. Like,
Yeah.
wow, his filmography these days, it's so good.
Right, like his filmography has become amazing, and his whole attitude towards Twilight by itself made the entire thing so entertaining. Have you guys ever seen those interviews?
Yeah, both him and Kristen Stewart actually, like, oh,
Yeah, dude, amazing. Like his interviews were the best part of the entire movie.
Yeah.
I still think, whenever I think of Twilight now, the only thing that comes to mind is him in an interview where someone was like, "What do you think you bring to the character of Edward Cullen?" And he was like, "Well, I think he really hates himself, and I really hate him too, so it's a really perfect match."
I have that with Daniel Craig and James Bond, where at one point during an interview, he's like, someone asked him, like, "So can you see yourself returning to the role of James Bond?" He was like, "I'd rather slit my own wrists." I was like, okay.
Oh, wow.
So I was like, I really feel Daniel. Yeah, that was
Yeah, see,
Really candid.
but that's why he's having such a great time as Benoit Blanc. He's like, "Oh, I get to have
yeah.
a funny accent. I
to
get to
have
solve
fun."
mysteries.
Yeah.
I can be a dad." Oop. Did I cut out my mic?
You just had to go there, didn't you, Kelly? Come
I'm
on.
sorry.
No,
I got
I
to-
think it's.
I got too excited about Knives Out stuff.
Andrew
Yeah,
and me
he's
being all
alright.
profesh, and then
I'm sorry. It's my fault. I'm late. I'm freaking unplugging my mic, eating on camera.
that was as smooth. That was your first. Wow,
Yeah, you see, like self-hatred really helps sometimes.
it does. I don't think that's the message the game wants us to.
Yeah, you just take the complete opposite message from it. Yeah, sometimes being really hard on yourself and hating yourself really helps out. You should really be able to do it on the first try or give up, is my point.
Yeah, I think the boat left and you weren't on it, Cal. I don't think that's where this boat is headed.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
How can you know for certain?
I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure. I will show you everything that you have said in the past hour and a half, actually. If you'd like a thorough explanation, I think I got you.
I'd like to refer you to my friend, you.
I'd like to refer you to you.